1:30 this afternoon, call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service. Because we're in constant contact with them all the time, we were notified of that, and we had units here that immediately sealed off the area. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. So we had that information. Our real-time crime center put it out to the license plate readers. And we were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. We got a hold of Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. After that, we took the the witness that witnessed the incident, flew him up there, and he identified as the person that he saw running out of the bushes and jumped into the car. Now, in the bushes where this guy was is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro, which he was going to take pictures of. So those are being processed right now. The Secret Service agent that was on the course did a fantastic job. What they do is they have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off. So that's what we know about the investigation. We have somebody in custody right now that is a potential suspect. We got a little bit more work to do on it, but as we usually do, as soon as we decide that we're going to book him into the county jail and the charges that he's going to be booked into, we'll get those to you, and we'll get a picture of him, and we'll get you his background.
How was this able to happen, and for future reference, is there any up-security of a golf course?
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery, so when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right, and at this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. Well, because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter.
What's going on, everyone? Donald Trump has survived a second assassination attempt. As you saw from the intro, at the time, news was unclear if it was directed at Trump, not directed at Trump. At least that's what CNN and all these leftist media seems to do. They did the same thing with Donald Trump's first assassination attempt. That they were shooting in the facility of a Trump rally. This is how they always start off their sources or their breaking news. And then as more details came out, 2 p.m., he was allegedly he was about to be assassinated, until 2 Secret Service members ahead of him saw the gun pointing out of the gate, and they opened fire on the guy. And the guy was able to escape. So some people bring up that as a concern. Many people were criticizing the Secret Service. I watched all this with Megyn Kelly. I think she had a great breakdown. She brought a lot of guests that had a lot of information on what the hell was going on. Some things with the Secret Service, how corrupt it is, that many people in the Secret Service are complacent. They practice CYA, which is cover your A, and not a lot of accountability is being held by many people in this administration. And as you saw, the left were making, I guess not fun of it, but they're like, no ears was harmed at the shooting or something like that. I forgot what it was, which is very despicable. But this is kind of give you a sentiment of how the media is going to attempt to cover this, right? Trump's defiant. Trump said he's unstoppable. He gives a thumbs up in a photo after Palm Beach shooting, right? Many stories are coming out. Trump's defiant message, he'll never surrender after being targeted by Palm Beach. And it's the things this man had to deal with, bro, it's ridiculous. But this goes to show that the rhetoric from the left, it's not changing. I mean, maybe it's having the desired results, because many people are pointing out to the fact that the guy that targeted Donald Trump was a guy called Ryan Wesley Roth, right? He's already been identified at the time of making this video. Here's a short clip of him doing an interview with Newsweek. Let's take a look.
From Canada, from everywhere in South America, every place.
Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Europe, everywhere. We need everybody here. You know, if you have no skills, just come. You know, we need to be cheerleaders. Just being here and saying, hey, I support the Ukrainians and I support human rights and I support good and generosity and caring and kindness
Yeah.
and altruism, and it's just, we need to show the world that we care, and it's essential. If you don't do any work at all, just being here and supporting and showing them that we care for our fellow human beings is the most important thing we can do.
So you seen that, you heard that. He also apparently appeared in the New York Times. He was interviewed by the New York Times allegedly. I haven't been able to confirm this, but this is also floating around that people have seen him on New York Times as a Ukraine activist, right? And here, Greenwald already kind of highlighting the fake journalism that's going on with this story is that it seems like the media are trying to pivot as quickly as possible away from Donald Trump's second assassination attempt. I think they're trying to kill this by noon today. I absolutely love the Democrats trying to claim that the alleged assassin's politics are unclear. Aside from his Bulkwell online neoconservatism, he begged Biden to beat Trump just 5 months ago because echoing every liberal pundit, democracy is on the ballot. Huge mystery. And this is an idea of, how the left loves to claim that right-wing accounts are radicalizing people. But many Americans will agree with me when I say this, and it's already been polled that how is the media a threat to America? Is that many Americans cite that the media divides people. It's not Trump that divides people; it's the media that divides people, and I believe it's due to the fact that they propagandize all of us into hating one another. Oh, threat to democracy! Here he is on a on a video in May 2022, I guess when the Ukraine war first happened. So you have this guy possibly radicalized by the rhetoric of the left, and the left don't want to take accountability for this stuff. And instead, you got people like, I believe, what's his name? I forgot his MSNBC host, NBC host Lester Holt, right? Many people are interpreting what he said as him attempting to blame Donald Trump for his own assassination again. Like, I don't understand why the left do this. I don't understand why many people on the journalists are doing this to Donald Trump, and it's getting to the point where Trump derangement syndrome is a real problem for legacy media. Let's take a look at this NBC segment of them highlighting the second assassination attempt and how they try to tie in the Springfield, Ohio stuff right after. Let's take a look.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
Lester, simply put, Springfield, Ohio has been inundated by threats over the last several days, closing government buildings, schools, hospitals. Today, effectively closing a local university campus after administrators said someone threatened a mass shooting targeting Haitians. This in light of, officials say, a false online conspiracy theory alleging Haitian immigrants in that city are eating people's pets.
I'm starting to get tired of the media. Like, I guess in a perception point of view, and this is why I'm saying the media doesn't try to inform you of the truth. Legacy media doesn't try to inform you of the truth. They try to give you a perception, and they want you to believe this perception as reality. And they try to equalize, oh, look, fierce rhetoric, of itself from the Trump campaign, and then correlate that with the bomb threats and government and all this stuff. And they do that to distract from the very point that, hey, 20,000 migrants illegally, legally, I don't know how they got here. Most likely the claim is illegally. Just dropped them. They gave them, I think Biden gave them like a loophole, right? They gave them temporary status so they can be considered legal immigrants, but really they came here illegally, and Biden gave them special status so they can remain here in the country. Dropped them in a town of about what, 80,000 people, if I remember correctly. That means the Haitian migrants, or however many people who got immigrated there, 20,000, just drop them in a small town, right? They didn't vote for this. You didn't ask the people or the residents if they were okay with it. You just put the migrants in there, and you don't claim. and you're supposed to be surprised that no disruption is going to happen in the area. And this is one of the example of the media already trying to shift away from the second Trump assassination, because they don't want Trump to be seen as a victim. They don't want to try to humanize Trump in any way. And this is a big problem that the legacy media has. Like, their bias is untenable. I already told you on this channel, 97% of journalists are Democrats, registered Democrats or liberal. So that means majority of journalists have a Democrat favorability bias, period. And you already see it in many studies they do about media bias, media coverage. They cover Trump majority of the time negatively. What do you expect anything different now? Nope. Old habits die hard. If the claim from CNN is true, it means that Trump, who is constantly being accused of inciting violence, will have been the target of 2 assassination attempts in 2 months. Unprecedented is extreme. Vitriolic, anti-Trump rhetoric responsible for this. But, this is some examples of the rhetoric from the Democrat officials, Democrat politicians on Democrat left-leaning shows like Jen Psaki, who used to work for the White House, Biden administration. Like, come on. This is the rhetoric that you're going to hear as an example of what I'm talking about when the left and many of the media pundits who try to claim, oh, we want bipartisan. We're bipartisan. No, you're not. You're very partisan. Many Americans agree with me. They see you very partisan. The only people who won't agree with me about the fact that the legacy media is partisan and liberal are Democrats. Studies shown this. Only Democrats are only group of voters that majority of them still trust the legacy media. Independents and Republicans do not trust the majority of them do not trust the mainstream media. Independents and Republicans. I digress. Let's take a look at this clip.
I talk about the fact that when we swore in finally in January, that we swore to defend against those that are coming against us, whether they are domestic or international. And right now, I feel like MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically. And we see it time and time again. And I think that's why you see.
And you don't think this would, like, that kind of language would radicalize the guy? Say, I got to take out this threat. He's a domestic terrorist on us. Like, it's like they cannot see how they contribute to the vitriolic rhetoric that's going on right now, but they want to keep making everything about Trump. Democrats had 12 years out of the last 16 years in power, but all the blame is on Trump 4 years compared to 12 years that the Democrats had running the office. But everything's Trump's fault. This is the same thing. This is the same game. Accuse the other side of what you're doing. It's a popular tactic with a lot of socialists. And they wonder why many people starting to see the Democrat as more progressive, more socialist, more far left. This is why Kamala Harris is sitting here trying to pretend that she's a moderate, because we all know she's extreme, politically anyway. Trump is the most relentlessly demonized politician in U.S. history. At this point, it's undeniable at this point. That has consequences. Those consequences are entirely intentional. The media won't tone down the rhetoric after this. Why would they? Their rhetoric is having the desired effect. That's a strong accusation by Matt Walsh. I wonder if you guys on the comment section agree with me, agree with Matt Walsh on this claim. And Megyn Kelly had a great coverage on this, and I want to highlight this a little bit on the video before I end it off. Let's take a quick look.
Here's where the media is going to go with this. Look at this woman, Alex Witt, on MSNBC, who is an anchor. Look at her reaction and spin after she knew. This is after we learned about today's assassination attempt. Watch this.
Do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was by Trumpian standards.
Before I continue the video, one thing I always tell people is that you have to be the change before you expect other people to change, because people, they don't really believe people's words. They believe people's example, people's actions. If the media really believe the crap that they want to hold Donald Trump accountable for, they would practice what they preach before they tell Donald Trump to do it. Hey, look, we stop calling you Hitler. Hey, look, when Democrats start calling you threats to the democracy, when they start calling you despicable, we correct them and say, hey, look, there's no place for rhetoric like this. This man has already been targeted by an assassination attempt. We do not want to encourage or inflame. We don't want any inflammatory rhetoric being spewed on this airwaves. I would have more respect for this angle that this news person in MSNBC is trying to take, but it's on deaf ears because you're not changing yourself. Because at the end of the day, you can only control your own actions. The media is sitting here expecting Donald Trump to sit here and not be aggressive. And what has he said? Like, what example has he said that will cause inflammatory rhetoric? And they try to. That's why I show you the clip before. Why they trying to tie in the Springfield, Ohio stuff with Donald Trump's rhetoric when there's no claims about that. Baseless claims. Yeah, baseless claims too. How you know this is not just a reaction from dropping 20,000 people into a town of 80,000 people? How you know that's not just a reaction to, hey, look, we didn't vote for this Ohio government. Why are you putting all these migrants here? How you know that's not a reaction? But Trump saying the migrants are eating cats and dogs. Oh my God, baseless claims, false claims. But here you are making baseless claims, trying to tie in Donald Trump's rhetoric to what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. Make it make sense. Isn't that not the same thing you guys are doing? But, I digress.
Standards muted, and it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches, but then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started.
That was Elise Jordan of Time Magazine as the guest. Unbelievable. So what this is about is Trump's unwillingness to tone down the most controversial thing Trump has said in the past several weeks is that he hates Taylor Swift. That does not get you a bullet or create cable news segments about how you need to lower the rhetoric, right? But calling someone Hitler, that might warrant that kind of a discussion.
And the media allows Democrats, to say it all the time with no check. They never challenge the politician that have called Donald Trump Hitler. Like, this is what we're talking about. Y'all want to talk about overheated rhetoric, but the left is more at fault with it than the right is. The right will police their own side for the most part. The right will hold each other accountable. The right will be held accountable by not just people on their side, but people on the other side. But when the left is participating in this overheated rhetoric, the left doesn't hold their own side accountable, and only the right is willing to call out what the left is doing. So it's always seen as partisan because the left loves to play optics, because the left seems to live in imagination. Not all of them, but many of them do. A sizable enough of them that many people who make these inflammatory statements towards Donald Trump feel the need to not even do anything or retract anything, right? I'm trying to find the tweet. Kamala Harris' key demographic is highly educated, highly mentally ill white women, right? Rachel Vinman, I don't know who this is. No ears were harmed. Carry on with your Sunday afternoon. This is the kind of comments that you get from the left about an attempted assassination of a president, a former president and current nominee for their rival party. And you wonder why people don't listen to the left. You wonder why some people trust Donald Trump more than they trust legacy media. You wonder why non-Democrats do not trust the mainstream media. This is why. Because you guys are hypocritical. You want to pretend that you have some higher moral high ground when in reality, you're just as bad or worse than what Donald Trump is doing. Make it make sense.
But we didn't see that. In fact, they're the ones doing that. That's exactly the kind of magazine that was doing that, right? We saw that on the New Republic, that Trump was Hitler. And so really, even in response to this, once again, the response, Bill, is maybe Trump really needs to tone down his rhetoric.
Yeah, it's essentially victim shaming. It's like you're blaming the target, not the perpetrators, not the people that are calling him Hitler, telling the country that if he gets elected, we lose our country. Not, like they're self radicalizing these people through their words, but they're saying, President Trump, stop speaking up for yourself, stop running for president, just lay down and let Kamala Harris win.
And that's exactly what they want. Oh no, stop this. You're putting yourself in danger, Donald Trump. It's your fault that this is happening to you. If you just stop being a threat to democracy, who called him a threat to democracy? The leftist media, Democrats, left-wing pundits, they call him that. Who called him Hitler? Left-wing pundits, the legacy media, right? Misrepresenting what he said. He talked about it's going to be an economic bloodbath if he loses because that's what Kamala Harris, Biden's going to bring in. They frame it as Trump says if he loses, it will be a bloodbath. Trying to misrepresent what he said. The legacy media is driving this radicalization for people to attack Donald Trump, and they don't want to take any type of accountability. They try to shift accountability and try to throw the blame around to Donald Trump. Typical Democrat tactic. When they're at fault for something solely, they try to spread the blame around. And you're seeing the same thing here with legacy media. But I digress. Let me know your reaction to the failed second assassination attempt at Donald Trump's life. Any more concerns? Many people predicted, Dan Bongino, I believe, he predicted that another one could happen, but we didn't expect it to happen this quickly. And I'm glad that Donald Trump is safe. I think it would have been a disaster if the assassin was able to hit Trump again, because I don't think the country can take something like this again. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.